We were attacked by a foreign enemy on September 11th of 2001. The casualties were horrendous, as they were on December 7th of 1941, but the attack on January 6th was more severe also than the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Well, what is happening, everybody? Patrick Bet-David sat down with Steve Schmidt, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, on his show, the PBD Podcast. Patrick Bet-David and his co-host, especially Vinnie Politan, couldn't believe their ears when Steve Schmidt vehemently claimed that January 6th was worse than 9/11. With that said, let's watch as Patrick Bet-David and his co-host verbally assault this lunatic. Steve Schmidt, let's go.
You lose credibility when you say 2,977 people died is less of an event than one person dying on J6.
That's not.
When you say that, you've already.
That's not. You're manipulating what I said, twisting it. What I said was January 6th was a more severe attack on the United States. September 11th had more casualties. There's a difference.
How do you measure worse? There's got to be data. You said you're a data guy. Data says one event we lost nearly 3,000 people. One event we lost one.
We lost.
The average person, they're going to say, of course, 3,000 is going to be worse.
Because I guess I'm counting the 600,000 that died in the American Civil War, and I'm counting the 405,000 that died in the Second World War, and I'm counting the 50,000 that died in the Korean War. And I'm counting the 58,000 that died in the Vietnam War. And I'm counting the acts of sacrifice that go back to 1776 that were desecrated on that day, incited by a single man who assaulted the Constitution of the United States. We were attacked by a foreign enemy on September 11th of 2001. The casualties were horrendous, as they were on December 7th of 1941. But the attack on January 6th was more severe also than the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Well, some would call it attack, but from the videos that we saw, Steve, from Twitter and just undercover cameras, it didn't look like an attack. If somebody
are you talking about?
I'm just talking about all the videos that we've seen, the undercover.
What do you mean all the videos?
All the videos on Twitter.
Well, all the videos on Twitter?
Yeah, hold on.
Are you guys going to really sit here and tell me that the attack on January 6th didn't happen, that the violence, the bludgeoning of the police officers didn't happen because of some bullshit on Twitter? Here we go. Get the
Steve,
I'll
give you my opinion, and then you could talk. First of all, it's not
an opinion.
Hold on.
It's not an opinion. It's a bullshit conspiracy.
All right, time out. I'm not only a New Yorker, I'm a veteran. For you, time out. Yeah. My sister's a veteran. My brother's a veteran. He's a veteran. For you to listen to me, for you to say that January 6th compared to 9/11 that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Hold on, let me finish. Number one, it wasn't an attack. It looked like a guided tour. Okay, that's what it.
You're a nut.
Are you? Yeah, you ain't right. I am. It was a guided tour.
A guided tour.
You think
a guy beating the cops?
What?
With all the violence?
Who died? Ashley Babbitt, a veteran, they shot. The Capitol Police shot her ass. Where is that guy getting in trouble? You're just upset because Donald Trump said, you know what, they probably cheated. You don't think he has a leg to stand on that they did it in 2016? Hillary, Russia, FBI, colluded. Are you how are we crazy, Steve? How are we crazy?
I mean, this is going to be on video, so I mean, you're going to speak for yourself.
No, I'm going to speak for myself. Yeah. 19 terrorists took 4 commercial flights, crashed them in the World Trade, crashed them in the Pentagon, did all that. Yeah. Okay, and you're saying that, and we've lost, and by the way, for how many decades of wars, we've lost over 1 million people.
Hey, if you like watching videos like these, like, subscribe, and blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to the video.
Iraq war, which is all bullshit, all a lie. 1 million people.
We lost 1 million Americans in the Iraq war?
No, we lost. We killed people because we said there was weapons of mass destruction. Mm-hmm. We lied. Bush lied. Oh, yeah, there's weapons of mass destruction there. There was no weapons of mass destruction, but we were like, oh, we changed the name. Since we're here, enduring freedom, which is bullshit, okay? So as a veteran, as an American, as a New Yorker, for you to say that that one day compared to that is absolutely absurd, Steve. I understand that you love this country. I'm not questioning your patriotism, but the hate for one guy because he loves this country so much
He
is
loves the
absolute
country.
bullshit. He does.
God, you're a fool.
How am I a fool? How am I a fool? You have Trump derangement syndrome. You just hate him. You just hate the guy.
You are
an
taken
American
in by
patriot.
a con man.
No, I'm not. I guess
He
what?
loves
I'm
the
not a
country.
Republican.
Trump
I'm not a
loves the
Democrat.
country.
You damn right he
Unbelievable.
does. He's been saying it since the 80s, 90s on Letterman and all these shows.
He's a guy on September 11th who went down, said he was down there. He wasn't. He's a guy who called in on a radio. He said, now I got the tallest building in lower Manhattan. He's a guy who lied about Muslims cheering it in New Jersey from Jersey City. He is a con man. He is a liar. And that you have fallen for this bullshit.
I'm not falling for anything, Steve.
Please.
Steve, how about this, Steve? It didn't have to be Trump. What I love is that this dude sacrificed everything to pull back a curtain and tell the regular American.
What did Donald Trump sacrifice?
Time out. Guess what?
What did Donald
his
Trump
name,
sacrifice?
his career, he could go to
name.
prison. He could go to prison for what you guys want for the rest of his life.
Probably shouldn't have broken the law.
No, Steve, you know what it was? Steve,
Broken
don't
the
give me this breaking the
Espionage
law
Act,
bullshit.
huh?
He pulled open a curtain and let all of us see. The regular
us see.
people. Look at what these assholes are doing.
You
Fake
talking
news,
about
fake this.
Are you talking about the shower curtain where he had the country's most sensitive secrets?
Oh, you
Is
mean
that the
no?
shower
What about
curtain?
but Biden doesn't bother you? But Biden doesn't bother you?
Right,
They all
big
take
difference.
documents home. They all take. Hey, hold on. Were we in better shape now than when Trump was in? Are you happy with what's going on? You and your Lincoln Project, but mind you, the biggest hypocrites. You guys were going after him for Russian collusion and tax evading. That's what you guys were doing. All your people. You were the only one that was innocent. The rest of them were perverted. One of them was a Russian agent. One of them was a Russian agent. One of them owes $390,000 in a tax lien on his house, and the other guy went to court from American Express for not paying his $30,000 tax bill. You guys are the biggest hypocrites. The biggest hypocrites. You guys hate the man. You guys just hate the man. But the policies and what he did for this country, I'm happy. Listen, it didn't have to be him, Steve. It could have been a fucking turtle. He woke us up. He told people, hey, look at this curtain. Look at what these assholes are doing. Fake news, and it's all bullshit. And he sacrificed it all for us. Plain and simple.
Well, it's official. We've done it. We've found the most insufferable man on earth. His face, the voice, his demeanor, clean sweep, all-around winner, no question. He's just the worst. Do you guys even remember the Lincoln Project? I mean, they're relatively irrelevant today. I mean, they're still technically up and going, but Trump just won in a landslide, so I don't think they're all that effective. But just in case anybody needs their memory refreshed, the Lincoln Project is a political action committee founded by this guy, Steve Schmidt, and a couple of other guys that their whole purpose of this political action committee is that they don't like Donald Trump. So they use their money to support candidates that aren't aligned with Donald Trump. It's a real mystery why they've faded from relevance, huh? These days, if you're a Republican running for office, even if you can't stand Trump, you would want to keep these guys as far away from you as possible because you know you don't have a chance if you're aligned with a group that just can't stand Donald Trump. Oh, and P.S., Vinny's right. The Lincoln Project has been mired in controversies. I'll get to them later. But if you're going to accuse Trump of the things they accuse him of, then your side of the street better be clean. And let me tell you, it's a mess. I have some questions that I'm hoping we can get a dialogue going in the comments about, of stuff that I'm just unclear on about January 6th, and that seems odd to me. Now, let me preface everything I'm about to say by reiterating, and I mean this very, very sincerely, that I don't condone January 6th at all. I never condone violence of any kind, and I especially don't condone violence against police. Now, with that said, over time, it seems like there's been more and more evidence that's come out that suggests something was just off about January 6th, right? The things that come to mind for me were the tapes that Tucker Carlson released of the Capitol Police essentially taking some of these so-called insurrectionists through the Capitol like a guided tour. The whole issue of the Capitol Police requesting backup from the National Guard and being turned down. And now, through whistleblowers, we know that there were plainclothes FBI agents in the crowd. Why were they there and what were they doing? And then the whole Ray Epps situation. Can we get a discussion going in the comments about this? Let me know what facts I'm missing, if you can provide more information about any of the things I've listed, or if you have any theories. To this day, I am puzzled by the whole thing, but I don't know what to make of everything. All of these odd occurrences could be coincidence, but come on. I've got more to say about the substance of the video, but I don't want to go on too long in the middle of the clip here. So let's get back to the video, and then I'll wrap up with some closing comments.
Say what you want. Say what you want. You're talking to a veteran that whole family fought for this country, and my parents are immigrants, and I'm a New Yorker. For you to compare those two is fucking asinine. The only girl that died was a veteran. The Capitol Police shot her. You said bludgeoning? Who died on January 6th? Who died? Who died?
Well, we have multiple suicides.
God, give me a break. Give me a break.
We have a lot of
multiple
damage.
on January 6th in the Capitol. Who died?
I'm
passionate because I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, Steve. You're the one. You were cussing and talking shit. You're not gonna do that shit with me. Sorry, bro.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are sitting here lying to millions of people about what happened on January 6th.
I'm lying.
Which was an attack on the country incited by the president. Watch the fucking video.
Is he in jail for inciting violence?
He will be soon.
Is that the video? Is that the video where he's like, go peaceful?
Yeah.
He's like, go in there, be peaceful.
That's
don't
what
do
happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You guys hate the person.
You guys don't seem to be a whack job like this guy.
Yeah, I'm a whack
But
job.
you know what it is though, Steve. You know what it is. So for me, I want to respect the voter, and I think there are millions, if not tens, who feel like he does. I
don't give a how he feels, and this is
and I don't give a how you feel.
And this is important. This is important because you can watch the video. Yeah. You can watch the video. You can watch the actual video of the insurrectionists attacking the Capitol.
Why isn't he in jail? He will be. That aged like spoiled milk. Who died? Well, there were some suicides. This guy's entire life is dedicating to discrediting Donald Trump. He gets an opportunity to make his case on a huge podcast. And as far as I could tell, the only argument he had was, look at the videotape. It's so obvious this guy's seeing exactly what he wants to see. And he's right. There is tape of violence occurring that day. But he's also not digging any further because he doesn't want to find anything that might contradict his stance. When Vinny suggested that it looked like a guided tour, he's like, what are you talking about? By the way, that's my horrible impression of him. This guy gets on my nerves to no end. But when Vinny asked that, he was like, what tapes? This is the same thing I've suspected of a lot of Democrats with regard to January 6th. I believe a lot of them didn't even watch when Tucker Carlson, put out all those tapes that we could all see because they didn't want to see something that went against their narrative. And the alternative is they saw him and just lied. But I honestly think a lot of them just didn't watch it because it's way easier just to say Tucker Carlson's a nut job. Oh, here's something else I've always believed, that if January 6th hadn't been on the news every single hour of every single day of our lives since it happened, we would have forgotten about it by now. I think every Republican would say, that was really dumb and we don't condone that. Let's never let that happen again. I even think that folks that are apolitical saw that story and were like, oh my God, that's crazy. Look what's happening. Then it stopped and it was over. I really don't think this would be as big a story if it hadn't been absolutely jammed down Americans' throats for the last 3.5 years, 4 years. Oh yeah, and I mentioned there were different nefarious things or scandals going on at the Lincoln Project. This guy stepped down years ago because one of his co-founders was sexually harassing people in the organization. Steve here and the other co-founders and other people in leadership knew what was going on and didn't take appropriate action. So they're scumbags. Also, apparently, a ton of the money that they brought in went straight to the businesses of the co-founders. So this guy's attacking Donald Trump on hearsay when we have cold, hard facts that this guy, at the very least, associated with proven crooks. These themes keep popping up, right? Projection. Rhinos, never-Trumpers, neocons, they all need to be thrown in the same bucket as Democrats because their tactics are all the same. It's projection. Look at this person because I don't want you looking at the things I've done. Or I think this person thinks that way because I know that's how I think, like a crook. And of course, the time-honored tactic of making up a story and just saying it over and over and over without any real evidence, but hoping that if you say it enough, people will believe it. And look, it's been effective in a lot of cases. If you notice when Vinny was listing all the controversy that the Lincoln Project has been involved in, Mr. Loudmouth that had been yelling the whole time, cursing, attacking people, got real quiet. He didn't say a word because he wanted to move on from that conversation really quickly. I guess if there's any silver lining to this video, it's that anyone can succeed in America, because this guy made himself look like a fool on a very popular podcast. And last I heard, people still employ him. Not to mention, like I said earlier, he's one of, in my opinion, the most objectionable all-around people I've ever seen. His voice, when he's talking normal, sounds like he's yelling. And it sounds like I talk like this. It's grating on the ears. He's super quick to anger. And of course, we've already seen that he has no facts to back up these things he's so passionate about. So anybody out there struggling right now or having a tough time getting a job or something, just know if this guy can be employed anywhere, then we're all going to be okay. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you like watching psychos like this spout nonsense with no evidence to back it up, then click on one of the 2 videos that just popped up on your screen. Otherwise, I really, really appreciate you being here today. The end.